Welcome back, everybody, to another segment of the K12 SportsTech AD Think Tank on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll be right back with this week's Think Tank guest, but as always, we're going to give a shout out to all of our sponsors. Now, if you're new to the podcast, these are all companies that I used when I was an athletic director. They're all great companies. I really suggest that you check them out. So take 3 minutes, listen to our shout outs, then listen to our Think Tank guest, and then go and visit these sponsors. I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. Here we go. We really want to thank K12 Sports Tech, which helps ADs and sports vendors connect through education and hands-on consulting. Athletic directors are also invited to join the K12 Sports Tech AD Think Tank and help influence how companies shape their tech to better serve you and your school. To find out more, just go to K12SportsTech.com. That's K12SportsTech.com. We want to say thanks to Vital Signs Wall of Fame. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record board or your school's Hall of Fame, go to Vital Signs Wall of Fame and check out their interactive touchscreen video consoles. You put one of these in your gym lobby, your main school hallway, anywhere on your campus, it's going to become a magnet for kids, coaches, even teachers. How about alums and sponsors? Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Check out their great products today. That's vitalsignswalloffame.com. We also want to say thanks to Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but as an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school. And our coaches, all of our coaches, just loved the tools that Huddle provided. Our kids loved the videos, and our parents loved the streaming, but there's so much more. Join the 8 million users. Turn your school into a Huddle school. We also want to thank Home Campus. Home Campus is a platform you will use every single day, whether it's scheduling, rosters, results. For me, the athletic clearance and eligibility uh, platform alone is worth the price. Go to homecampus.com. That's homecampus.com for more information. Don't forget to mention the podcast, homecampus.com. We also want to say thanks to Snap. Snap is no longer just fundraising, but if you're interested in a fundraiser, you need to go to snapraise.com. We used it at our school with great success. Our coaches, our parents, everybody just loved it because it works. Go to snapraise.com. You can check out their other great platforms. But if you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it. It's snapraise.com. We also want to thank Gipper. Go to Gipper.com. Their team is going to have you creating world-class social media content in seconds. And whether it's just a simple post to celebrate a big victory or an entire newsletter to share all the great things your athletic department is doing, the team at Gipper will have you up and running in no time. It's professional graphic design made easy. Go to Gipper.com to find out more information. That's Gipper.com. We also want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. You can schedule a live web demo to see their great products in action. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Check out their great products today. We also want to say thanks to Ohio University and their online masters. My assistant athletic director, along with thousands of others, got his master's through the Ohio program, and it was a great experience. It's reasonably priced, just 20 months. And while you're getting your master's, you're also completing 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Go to ohio.edu/info/MAA, and don't forget to mention the podcast, the Ohio University Online Masters. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Hometown. Hometown is still the leading digital ticket supplier, but it's a lot more. Hometown is changing the game for schools, for organizations with their suite of solutions for things like, digital ticketing, also fee-free fundraising, athletic websites, and a whole lot more. Whether you're an athletic director, a coach, or a school administrator, Hometown makes it easy for you and your school or your organization to save time, raise more money, and bring your community together. You can learn more at hometown.com. hometown.com. That's hometown.com. And we want to thank Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Athletic directors already get feedback, but a lot of times it's from a very small group that just wants to complain. Athletic Surveys will connect you to that group so you can hear the concerns, but it's also going to connect you to the 98% of your stakeholders that support your program. And having that type of positive data, that amount of positive data, is incredibly valuable, especially when you're visiting with a frustrated parent, maybe your principal, or even your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. That's athleticsurveys.com. Welcome back, everybody, to another segment of the K12 SportsTech AD Think Tank right here on the Educational AD Podcast. We're going to Texas today, and our think tank guest is Ben Nichols. Ben is the athletic director. He's also the head cross country and track coach for Village Tech Schools. That's in Mansfield, Texas. Of course, we're also joined by Alec Brown, who's the COO of K12 SportsTech. Ben, I'm going to start with you. Welcome to the K12 SportsTech Think Tank.
Hey, thanks for having me. Excited to be here today.
Well, we're excited to have you. We're going to hear more about your story. Alec, as always, great to have you sharing. Thanks again for helping us put together this segment for the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jake. Always excited to be a part of this.
Okay. Actually, I lied during our pre-discussion. You've been talking on a previous couple of episodes, Alec, about the think tank is approaching 500 think tank members. Have we hit that threshold yet?
Yeah, so we are there. We are going to make the announcement real soon. We're having a meeting with our think tank members this Thursday. So we're going to talk about it some more there. And now we're shooting for 600 and beyond.
Okay. Well, again, fantastic. If you have been listening, you know that Alec and Abby Emerson of K12, they offered kind of a prize to the 500th think tank member and also to the AD that referred them. I also threw in a couple of our toolbox books. If you're listening to this episode and you send me a text with the key words Ben Nichols, I'll send you three of our toolbox books just for being a listener to the think tank. But let's go and jump in. Talking about Ben Nichols. Ben, share a little bit about your school setting, where you're at, talk about the enrollment, and that way our listeners have an idea of what you're doing, and then share how you first heard about the think tank.
Yeah. So we are Village Tech Schools. We are in Duncanville, Texas, and we are tiny. And that's the best way to explain where we're at in terms of athletic size. So if you're familiar with Texas sports, we are in the District of Doom triangle between Duncanville, who is historically great at everything that they do, Cedar Hill and DeSoto, who are both also just ginormous powerhouse programs who are great at whatever they do. And so when you're kind of in this area and you say, well, I'm a high school athlete, you think, well, you're at one of those three schools. You've got to be. And so Village Tech was created in 2013 to kind of be an alternative school for kids that didn't necessarily fit within the mold of those big programs. And so all of our founders who created this were educators at one of those schools. And they said, well, what happens if you're a student here and you're not the superstar quarterback or you're not the superstar point guard? Where do you fit in? Do you have belonging? Do you fit within the educational landscape? Like what happens to your educational experience? And for a lot of kids, and what they saw in the classroom was it doesn't. There's so many kids and there's so many people in the machine of these three big schools and just schools in general, that how do you get on a more individualized level to teach students and do what's necessary in the classroom to truly teach them, as opposed to just saying, well, we've got to keep moving on because here's what the district says we have to do. So Village Tech was created. We started rocking and rolling with classes, and before long, kids said, "Hey, this is great, but we do want to play sports. We do want to be involved in these things. We still want to have those same opportunities. And so our athletic program was created. So I've been at Village Tech. This is my seventh year here total, but my sixth year of as an athletic director. And just creating kind of an environment for kids that they have the same opportunities as you would at the other big three schools. And so, as a smaller school, I think our um, high school size is 318 right now, which is just so small compared to the couple thousands that you would have at Duncanville or DeSoto or Cedar Hill. But we just make the most of what we can to give the kids again the same opportunities that they would have elsewhere.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
yeah,
a great story. I love the, the timeline and how it all, fit together.
yeah,
Um, again, Alec, I've been bouncing all over the place. Let's go and give Ben a break here before he shares how he heard about the think tank. Why don't you share with our listeners, if somebody's new, um, what is the think tank? Where did it come from? What's the idea behind it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the think tank in K12 Sports Tech is a consulting and resource hub that connects ADs with sports tech vendors. It's a way to help ADs kind of find out what is out there that might help their program, but also gives them an opportunity to give vendors direct feedback on their tools to then in turn help, lots of programs because vendors will be improving their solutions based on what our ADs are saying. So we started K12 about 2 years ago. My business partner Abby is the founder of the company. She's been on the show a couple of times. She started this model. And then about a year ago, or just over a year ago, we started to develop the think tank. We recruited ADs who we knew to start with. We were based in Chicago, so we recruited mostly Illinois ADs. They started to have a really good experience in the work that we were doing with them. They started to refer their networks, and it grew from there to the point where we just hit 500 members. We're in 44 states right now, and looking to continue to grow in 2025.
Yeah. Well, again, when I first heard about it, and you've heard me share this before, I just thought it was great from two perspectives. One, obviously, connecting ADs directly with vendors. What a great idea, and nobody else is doing that. But also the networking component. Anytime we can help young ADs or even veteran ADs, add to their network, add to that list of people they can call if they have a question, I'm all for that. Ben, let's go and jump back to you. How did you first hear about K12 Sports Tech and the AD Think Tank, and how have you seen it impact you so far?
yeah. I don't really have a great story about how I found out about it. I actually just got an email one day, and if I'm honest, I really thought like this isn't real. But the more I thought about it throughout the day after reading it, I was like, what if this is real? What if this is something that could really help? So I filled out whatever question was on it, had a meeting with Abby, and then absolutely just like fell in love with this whole idea and this whole process. Because for us as again a small school, but for us as a 3A school in Texas, um, staff funding, all those things are limited, especially compared to some of these bigger districts. But a lot of the services and products and things that are offered to schools and all these different solutions are meant for big schools. And a lot of things don't necessarily fit into the small school landscape. And so we have found ourselves in the past paying for products or doing things that we're not utilizing fully just because we can't staff it. We're not utilizing fully just because we don't have the capacity to do it or the additional resources to do it. As we're kind of getting into different things and we're getting into subscription based stuff, it's like, oh, well, you can have this product, and for an extra, you can subscribe to this to get the full features, but I can't afford the money to spend the money on the extra subscriptions. And so it's been a wonderful process to be at least heard in all of this, at least being able to connect to people and say, look, these are really cool ideas, but for schools our size, or at least for us, we can't do this and we can't make this work. And sometimes it's been great to hear feedback from those vendors. Sometimes it's just like, have you considered these things? And so it's been a really wonderful experience with it.
Um, Again, I just love to hear the success stories. Can you talk a little bit about the networking component? I know Texas has a tremendous state association for athletic directors and for coaches, but how have you seen the networking component of the think tank impact you?
Yeah, the think tank has actually brought a lot of people to me, is kind of what I've felt. And so again, just where I'm at, I coach as well as being AD, and I would not have it any other way. I want to be very clear. But because I'm doing these double duties, it's hard to get out to some stuff sometimes, and it's hard to get there sometimes. And I think a lot of schools, especially schools like ours that are not traditional ISDs that have not been established for hundreds of years. Sometimes they get overlooked and sometimes they get forgotten. Sometimes the invites get lost in the mail, and sometimes things. I've been invited to several conferences that I just cannot make because I am the only person here doing these things, and it's just there's nobody else to help or cover. And so the think tank's been great in connecting me with people and being able to have those individual meetings where I feel like I'm heard. I feel like I'm not being overshadowed by other schools that are bigger, badder, and fancier. But again, bringing him to me where it's like, hey, I can kind of do this on my own time, as opposed to, we've got a track meet on this day, and this is the only day that this conference is going to be, or this is the only day that these vendors can meet. It's been cool to have them be brought in.
Right. Again, that's exactly I think what Abby and Alec are looking for. Um, Alec, how have you seen the think tank, I guess, grow over a little over a year, and where do you see it going from here?
Yeah, good question. So, the way that it's grown has been probably the most um, just impressive part about being a part of this over the last year. It's primarily grown through referrals. Ben is actually kind of in the minority by joining through reading an email and responding, which I'm so glad he did, and I'm so glad when people do that. It's nice to know that those work. But about 90% of members in the think tank have been referred by someone else. And that just speaks to a positive experience overall, trusting relationships that we've developed with ADs, and them being willing to then go ahead and refer their network. Probably no one has referred more people than you, Jake, and it's been right from the beginning. And it's just been, awesome to be embraced by a community that really values what we're trying to do and believes in our mission.
Yeah, well, very kind to say that, but again, from maybe speaking on behalf of AEDs, this is something that again had not existed, and just I think is tremendously appreciated, and you know this because you hear the stories, appreciated by athletic directors across the country that have joined. Let's go and talk about the other side. Let's talk about the vendors. What has been your response? What has been their response to you as they have become part of this, let's say collaboration between athletic directors and sport vendors?
Yeah, I think vendors have really overwhelmingly enjoyed the experience. I think a lot of times they might not admit this, but a lot of times they find out that they didn't know as much about the space as they thought originally. And I think mostly it's about the individuality amongst schools and programs. Ben talked about the type of school that he's at, the type of athletic department that he runs. It's actually very similar to my background. But the think tank is made of all different types of programs and all different types of schools. So vendors are finding, maybe where their niche is or what type of program they really belong in and should market to, or maybe they're identifying ways to sort of enhance their products so that they are a fit for all different types of programs. And I think that is ultimately what we want to see. We want a school like Ben's or my former school, which was very developmental in their athletics, to be just as valued as your big state champion schools across the country.
Oh no, absolutely. And those, whether it's a small school or a big school, athletic directors are always going to be making those purchases, whether it's equipment, uniform, scoreboards, whatever it is, they're going to buy them from somebody. So, why not buy from a company that has been, let's say, vetted and approved by the athletic director think tank? And again, the vendors that I spoke to, like at the national conference, that were already part of the think tank, very appreciative of the comments and the feedback, if you will, from athletic directors, because hey, they're trying to market their product directly to those ADs, and they're going to choose somebody. Why not choose somebody, like I said, that's part of the think tank? If a vendor's listening, or if an athletic director's listening, and they want to find out more about K12 Sports Tech or join the think tank, Alec, how do they do that?
Yeah, a couple of things you could do. You could visit our website, K12SportsTech.com. Check out our vendor services, check out our AD Think Tank page. Go ahead and create an account if you are an AD who just wants to, to sign up and then hear more from us. It's completely free for ADs. Or you can email me at Alec at K12SportsTech.com. That's ALEC at K12SportsTech.com. And I'd be happy to meet with you and talk further about how you can get involved.
Well, and Ben, if one of our listeners wants to reach out to you, maybe ask about your experience with the think tank, or just pick your brain a little bit, they might be at a similar school. How can our listeners get a hold of Ben Michael Nichols?
Yeah, no, I always love it because that's how I felt like I came up, and so I'm always happy to answer emails or anything. You can email me BNICHOLAS at villagetechschools.org, and schools is plural. So yeah, please shoot me an email. I love answering those kind of questions. Again, I felt like I had to grow a whole bunch in that process, and so I love being able to kind of help and give back.
Well, Ben, all the best to you and your student athletes and coaches at the Village Tech School. And Alec, always great to connect with you and Abby. Keep doing great things with the AD Think Tank.
Thanks so much, Jake.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
For our listeners, we want to say thanks to you and remind you that we upload the Zoom recordings of every interview to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do this segment just about every single week, and every day we try to share stories and best practices. So come back and join us again on another episode of the Educational AD Think Educational AD Think podcast. Why am I saying that? And the K12 Sports Tech AD Think Tank. There we go. Everybody, have a great day. Again, before we go, we want to thank all of our sponsors, especially K12 Sports Tech, because this is the K12 Sports Tech AD Think Tank. We also want to say thank you to Gipper. Go to Gipper.com, start creating world-class social media content. Huddle, as a football coach, I used Huddle. As an AD, we were a Huddle school. Go to Huddle.com. Ohio University's online masters, check out Ohio University. We also want to thank Home Campus. You've heard me say it's a platform you're going to use every single day. Go to homecampus.com. Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. We also want to say thanks to Hometown. It's not just ticketing anymore. Go to hometown.com. See all the great things they can do. Athletic surveys by LifeTrack. You're really missing the boat if you're not surveying your kids, your coaches, your parents. Go to athleticsurveys.com. Snap Raise, go to snapraise.com. Check out all their great platforms. Vital Signs Wall of Fame, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. K12 Sports Tech, that's K12sportstech.com. And we'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast.